Welcome to another video on the big answer, the single biggest answer to life's biggest questions. If you're new, please start with the video Book 1, Intro to the Big Answer, and then watch Chapter 1, which explains the 7 qualities, as we'll be building on what we've covered so far. In this video, we'll be covering the number one issue that many have, which is that good and bad don't exist as independent, objective facts in the universe. This is true, and yet, at the same time, the big answer provides an objective explanation of our subjective values. Isn't that a direct contradiction? Let's find out. We're first going to show how there's no such thing as objectively good that exists as a brute fact of reality, independent of living things' subjective values. To do this, we're going to look at Hume's law, which says you can't get an ought from an is. What he's saying is that you can't use a factual statement about what is to support a statement about the way things ought to be. Should is more commonly used today than ought, so we'll switch to that word. Hume pointed out that every should statement, such as you should do X or society should be like this, is based on objectively achieving a goal, but that our goals are just extensions of our subjective values. For example, saying you should eat your veggies because that will objectively keep you healthier only makes sense if you subjectively value staying healthy. You might say that staying healthy is good because it objectively helps achieve the goal of living longer, but that goal depends on you subjectively valuing living longer. If you say the goal of living longer is good because it objectively lets you get the most out of your life, that only means something if you subjectively value getting the most out of your life, and so on and so on. So while we can see that there are indeed things that objectively get you closer to, or further from a goal, there is no way to trace the goals themselves back to some ultimate objective fact. They only ever trace back to a subjective value. How can this be true and not undermine the big answer's claims? Let's get really clear on exactly why the 7 qualities are the objective basis for our values. It is absolutely true that the 7 qualities are not inherently, fundamentally, or factually good on their own. The big answer does not claim that such a concept of objective good exists independent of living things. As discussed previously, something needs to act like its existence matters before existence can matter. If nothing existed, nothing would exist to care that nothing existed. Further, if things existed, but still nothing acted like it cared whether or not it existed, then existence still wouldn't be good or bad. But once something exists that acts like it cares about anything, objective reality can weigh in on its subjective values. If it acts like it subjectively values things that undermine its existence, it, along with its values, will soon no longer exist. If it acts like it subjectively values things that support its existence, it and its value system will be more likely to keep existing. Makes sense, right? Evolution requires something to stick around long enough to procreate and hand its genetically encoded or socially taught subjective values to its offspring. The more in line with the 7 qualities those are, the more likely this will happen generation after generation, getting more and more refined over time. Therefore, objectively, the only possible result is that living things will evolve subjective preferences that are generally in line with the 7 qualities most of the time in the context they evolved in. This means that, while you can't get an ought from an is, a value system based on the 7 qualities is what we ought to see evolve in nature. This is why our subjective values have an objective explanation. Because of this, we can make the prediction that any intelligent life that arises on Earth, or anywhere in the universe, will develop a value system in line with the 7 qualities. That doesn't mean their value systems will look anything alike on the surface, but they will still achieve the same goal. In the next video, we'll look at how a value system, based on the qualities necessary for existence, can jump off the page and apply to everything we subjectively value, such as art, music, spirituality, fiction novels, trivia, etc. I'll see you there, and in the meantime, do good smart.